Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, people better go get themselves a Green Bay Packers blanket for their bed because they keep sleeping on them. And we've got a 53-man roster. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of Go Pack Go All Day. And I'm your host, Vinny B. So today I'm going to discuss the 53-man roster of the 2024 Green Bay Packers. So starting off, the wide receivers. They've got Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Bo Melton, Malik Heath, and Romeo Doubs. So these receivers, in my honest opinion, people are sleeping on them because they are only going to get better. They're young, but they're going to keep getting better. And some of them are extremely fast. So if you put these guys on different parts of the field, how are you going to cover them defensively, right? So I think the Packers made some great decisions with the wide receivers. It would have been nice if they selected Grant Dubose, but they only had so much space, so that makes sense. Grant Dubose went on to play for the Miami Dolphins, sadly. And moving on to the tight ends, the Packers have Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and Ben Sims. So, of course, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft are their top tight ends on the team. They are in their second year now. And I think that they can only get better, just like the wide receivers. They got those young wide receivers, and they got the young tight ends. And then moving on to the offensive line, you've got Jordan Morgan, Rasheed Walker, Kadeem Telford, Travis Glover, Andre Dillard. These guys are legitimate. Especially Rasheed Walker. He did some great work last season, and he was trusted. You've got a couple rookies here, and Dillard was a first-round pick, I believe, for the Seahawks at one point, and now he's on the Green Bay Packers. So those are the offensive tackles. And then for the running back position, the Packers had A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon was injured. I guess he had one of those stingers, and he is out for the season. So that leaves the Packers with Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emmanuel Wilson. Josh Jacobs was one of the top running backs just a couple years ago, and I think that him being on the Green Bay Packers is going to increase his numbers for sure. Marshawn Lloyd is the rookie that they recently drafted. If you look at his tape, he's got a lot of speed, brings a lot of power to the running back room. And Emmanuel Wilson, he's just a really good running back. I would say it's great to see him on the 53-man roster. And look out, this running back core is going to be pretty good. Next, the quarterbacks. Jordan Love, of course, he got paid over $50 million per year. And the Packers did something incredibly interesting. They got rid of their two backup QBs for the 53-man roster. And they go and they trade for Malik Willis. They traded a 7th-round pick for the 2025 draft to pick up Malik Willis. I mean, slight gamble, I would say there. His numbers weren't all that great from what I've seen, but maybe the Packers can shape him and turn him and mold him into something great as a backup. Then you also have offensive lineman Zach Tom on the list. You got the punter Daniel Whalen. He was great last year. Good to see him back. The long snapper, Matt Ozek. Pretty good there. And then you get into the linebackers. Eric Wilson, he was a great player for the special teams, but he might get some reps in there at linebacker. Quay Walker, of course, phenomenal linebacker. He was a first-round pick. Isaiah McDuffie, he started getting better towards the end of last season. Tyron Hopper, this guy was all over the place in the preseason, so I am really excited to see what this guy can do in the regular season. Edgerrin Cooper, one of the top linebackers in the draft, he got hurt, but he just recently returned to practice, so it's going to be very interesting to see what these linebackers can do in this new defense with Hafley running the show. And the Packers went in and got rid of Joseph and Carlson. So, sorry, Carlson, you got fired. And I think that was a good move because they went out and they picked up Braden Narveson. Now, this kicker is 100% on his extra points. So that's a good thing. Now, of course, field goals can be kind of tricky at times, but I think they made a great decision to move on from Carlson and pick up Braden Narveson. The kicking position was their biggest weakness, so I'm excited and very happy that they made this move. And looking forward to seeing what Narveson can do for the Green Bay Packers. When the game is on the line, you got to have a guy you can trust. So maybe this guy is that guy. And then also on the roster, offensive guards Elgin Jenkins and Sean Ryan. These guys have been on the team for a couple of years. Elgin Jenkins is very reliable, so of course he is back. And then they've got the defensive linemen, Devontae Wyatt, Colby Wooden, Lucas Van Ness, Preston Smith, TJ Slayton, Aaron Mosby, and Rashawn Gary. Oh, and Kingsley Onigbare. All these guys are going to excel, I think, in this new defensive scheme put out there. I think that Lucas Van Ness is going to absolutely excel in his second year on the team. He's been learning from Rashawn Gary. And I think Devontae Wyatt is going to be putting up some sacks this season. So it should be very exciting to see what those guys can do. They also have Brenton Cox Jr., Kenny Clark, of course, the veteran, Carl Brooks, second year defensive lineman. These guys, I swear to God, we're going to be hearing their names quite a bit on the defensive side. Then, moving on to the corner, they didn't put Kalen King in the position of corner. However, they kept him on the practice squad, so that's fine. Carrington Valentine, Eric Stokes, Keyshawn Nixon, Corey Valentine, and Jair Alexander. So Jair Alexander, the top corner on this team, the highest paid. He is going to hopefully stop some of these top receivers. And Eric Stokes, as long as he had fixed out his cap issues, they've said he has done some phenomenal things in practice. Carrington Valentine, phenomenal player, very aggressive. We're going to see what happens with this team. Also, the safety room. The safety room is completely different on this team. They've got a rookie, Evan Williams, Katan Oladapo, Javon Bullard, Zane Anderson, and Xavier McKinney. So Xavier McKinney, the highest paid guy in the group, he came from the Giants. They paid him. He is going to put up some serious numbers, and it seems like he is leading this group on this defense. So it was great to see that the Packers picked up the safety and also picked up some of these aggressive safeties for this team. Javon Bullard they had this video for John Madden showing that he missed a tackle. And that kind of peed him off because I think this guy is going to put up some aggressive tackles. Hopefully not too aggressive where they're throwing laundry everywhere, okay? Just hold your horses on that one. But overall, if you look at this 53-man roster, it's pretty good. Also, their centers, Josh Myers and Jacob Monk. Some say that Jacob Monk might be taking over the center position at some point and that they will not sign Josh Myers in the future, but we'll see. It's always good to have two centers on this team because you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. I think that the Green Bay Packers have a lot of upside with this team. They made a lot of great decisions with their 53, and they definitely thought it out quite a bit. Quite a bit. They lost Samori Toure. He went to the Bears. So if Samori Toure ends up on the 53 of the Bears and they go up against them, it's going to be really cool. But the Green Bay Packers 53-man roster is out there. And who knows what adjustments they might take. But I'm excited for this season. The Packers play their first game a week from today. And schedule your calendars because it's on Peacock or NFL Plus. And that's all I've got to say. And go Pack Go all day on YouTube.